Hey guys, Brad here, Skyline Construction. Today we're going to be doing a little project. This video is basically going to talk about how to install this striker plate on a door, and what this is going to do for me is essentially give this door more security, because it's a larger plate and the screws that I'll be putting in that come with it are I think 3-inch screws. So added security for your door if that's something that you want, because quite frankly with these little striker plates it's very easy to break this. If someone was to kick your door in, these screws are always really small and this can bend. This metal is very, very thin, so these things can bend very easily. Same with this could just pull right out. So having a larger striker plate that's spread out over a larger space will definitely increase the security of the door. I'm also going to be doing another video on another type of security latch, so that will be coming up pretty soon. But for now we're going to get into this, so just follow me along and yeah, let's see how this thing goes. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you like the video, make sure you give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So now we're gonna get into opening this up and seeing what we've got here. Okay, so I will note this brand is the Defender Security. That's for your entry door, and this would be for, you know, your door handle, and then this would be for your deadbolt. So pretty simple to do. The tools that you'll need for this job are going to be a really sharp knife, a hammer, a drill, a Phillips screw bit or drill bit, some tape, what else, tape measure, perhaps some spade bits, and some chisels if I didn't already say that. So you can see how this will go on here. This is the striker plate, and as you can see the screws are all spaced out, and then it has these tabs in here that you can adjust, so that will push your door closer to the weather stripping. And you always want to do this one on the door handle part. The actual deadbolt doesn't necessarily need this part to adjust. It's always a door handle, because that's what hits first, and then you lock with your deadbolt. You could adjust this if you wanted it a little bit closer to the deadbolt, but it's not super necessary. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these striker plates, and then I'm going to show you how I mount this. And essentially you flip it upside down, you center it on your holes, and then what I'll do is I'll screw it to the jamb, to the door jamb, and then I'll take a knife and I'll trace it out with my knife, and I'll take this off and I will chisel all this out, and then so it's nice and flush, because you want it to be flush. Now this is a really old door, so it's not in the greatest shape, so we'll see how we make out here, but essentially you want these to be flush. You could mount it, if you have got the space, you could just mount it on the surface. It's just not as nice, you know, it's just not as clean. So I'm gonna recess mine, make it nice and flush. So you can use a screwdriver or you can use a drill. As you can see, I've got it in there nice and flush. I just put these old screws in just to hold it in place. And now I'm gonna pre-drill all these holes here for these larger screws. And these are Phillips, which I really dislike. And they measure 3 inches. So the reason why we're using 3-inch screws instead of these little 3/4 inch screws is because we want to get into the stud, into the framing behind here, and that's what's going to give us our strength. It's not the jamb itself. We want to penetrate into that stud pack behind here. Now some doors might have a larger gap in behind the door jamb for spray foam. So you might need to actually step up your screw from a 3-inch to a 4-inch, maybe even a 5-inch, just to ensure that you're getting good penetration into those studs. If you're not getting into the studs, then this is all basically pointless. So we really want to make sure that we're getting into the studs with the screws. Now mine is 3/4 of an inch back, so you know that's basically this much. So I'm going to have a lot of bite into the stud. Now, one thing I will mention about these, I had to basically plow all the way through this door jamb because these nubs on behind the striker plate here were so deep that I had no choice. I don't really like that. Another option would have been to maybe use a router or a Phillips bit or something like that, but again, this is a really old door. It's already been munched up, so I'm just doing the best I can with what I've got here. So let's continue on. So when you're picking a drill bit, I typically hold it up to the screw itself, and you want the drill bit to be no bigger than the actual shank itself, not bigger than the threads. You want the threads to be able to bite. If your bit is as large as your screw, then the screw is just going to slip right in. So you want it a little bit smaller, and you even want to be a hair under the size of the shank. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll bring it in here. This is going to be the one. So this is a 7/64. All right. And I'm mainly drilling through the jamb as well. Once we get into the stud, it'll bite, and I don't really need to pre-drill the stud too much. So what I'm going to do here too is I'm just going to close the door and make sure that this does fit properly. I might have to take these 2 little screws out and adjust these plates, and I want to do that before I get all my screws in. Okay. So you could probably see that the door was moving in and out about 1/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is take these screws out and pull this plate forward about 1/4 of an inch. Now, if I start running into issues and the plate starts bending too far, then the door doesn't close properly. So what you want to do then is actually chisel this back further and slide this plate back a little bit more. But I think bending this is just going to be the answer for this door. So you just need yourself a pair of line pliers, and you just hold it on here, and then you can just bend it to where you want. So it might take a couple tries, but essentially I want to move it in, you know, about 1/4. It's at a 90 degrees, so I'll just bring it in about 22 degrees. Okay. kind of like that. I don't know if you can see it. So we'll start with that and see how it goes. Okay, so now I'll close the door and we'll give it a try. All right, so I need to go a little bit more. I personally like the ones that have the little hole in them, so you can just take a screwdriver and bend them. That's a lot quicker than having to take it on and off a million times. Okay, I think we got it. All right, there we go. This is your typical striker plate, and you can see how small it is. It's also maybe half as thin, not quite, but it's very, very thin metal, very flimsy. You know, if you really want, you can bend it with your hands. So this just helps disperse the plate into a larger surface area. So if anyone is trying to kick your door in or force it open, they're really not going to break this plate, okay? With your 3-inch screws that you've got put in here, the larger plate surface, you can't beat it. I'll also leave a link down below with all the tools that I used, as well as an Amazon link for this plate if you guys are interested. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, and I'm going to be putting it on a couple other doors on this property as well. So until next time, guys, keep on crushing it. And if you did like this video, leave a comment down below, hit that notify bell, subscribe. Till next time, we'll catch you later, and stay safe.